Welcome to today's chilling tale of horror, Devil in the Walls. In this story, a family's dream home quickly turns into a nightmare as strange whispers and sinister forces emerge from the very walls of their new house. Will they survive the evil lurking within, or will they fall victim to a pact made long ago? Sit back, stay close, and let's dive into the terror. Let's start. The Harlow family thought they had found their dream home. The old Victorian house with its towering spires and sprawling front lawn stood proudly at the edge of the small town of Marshfield. For an unbelievable price, it was theirs. The deal was too good to pass up, and the house's beauty seemed to outshine its creaky floors and weathered exterior. Sarah Harlow, a recently divorced mother of two, saw it as a fresh start, a chance to escape the hustle of the city and give her children, Emily and Jake, a quiet, safe life. They settled in quickly. The smell of old wood filled the air, and the faint creaking of the house at night was nothing more than a charming reminder of its age. But within the first few days, something began to unsettle them. The noises started small. Whispers in the walls, faint enough to be dismissed as the house shifting or the wind pushing against the panes. But then one night, Sarah woke to the sound of scratching. It started softly, like someone dragging a nail across wood, but it grew louder, more frantic, as if something was trying to escape. She told herself it was just the house settling. But when she heard her name, Sarah, called from the wall late that night, she couldn't ignore it. Her heart pounded as she stood frozen in her bedroom, staring at the wall, not knowing whether to call out or run. The whisper came again, clearer this time, as if someone was standing on the other side of the wall, speaking directly to her. "Sarah, help me." Yes, do it. The next day, Jake, her 8-year-old son, started having nightmares. He couldn't sleep, and when he did, he would wake up screaming, talking about something in the walls, something that watched him at night. Emily, who was 15 and more skeptical, laughed it off at first, dismissing Jake's stories as imagination running wild. But soon enough, she started hearing the whispers too. It wasn't just Sarah or Jake now. But yeah, Emily heard it when she was alone in her room. It would start as a soft murmur, as if someone was in the next room, but there was no one there. It all came to a head one evening when Sarah was cleaning the attic. The house, though large, had an eerie sense of space, the kind that made rooms feel larger than they should be. And empty corners always seemed to hold something just out of view. As she swept the dust away, she noticed an old chest, tucked behind a pile of forgotten furniture. Curious, she pulled it out, dusted it off, and opened it. What are these? Inside was a thick, leather-bound book, ancient and yellowed, its pages brittle with age. On the cover was a symbol she didn't recognize, a twisted, knot-like shape, and beneath it, the words, "To the devil I do pledge." It was unusual for her to mail it. Her heart stopped. She leafed through the pages, reading snippets of the old language. A pact, a contract, one made by the house's original owners, with something dark, something ancient. They had sold their souls in exchange for wealth and power. The pact was sealed with blood, and the house itself had become the devil's domain. That's when the walls began to bleed. Sarah didn't tell the kids right away. She couldn't. How could she explain it? The walls, once silent, were now alive with sound. Scratching, growling, and, occasionally, soft cries. The house had become something else entirely. It wasn't just a house anymore. It was a trap, and the devil was inside it. One evening, as the family sat in the living room, the lights flickered, casting long shadows against the walls. Suddenly, the voices became louder. Sarah, Jake, Emily. They were no longer whispers. They were screams, and they came from the very walls themselves. It was then that the family saw it, slithering beneath the wallpaper. Something shifting, something grotesque and evil. The house had been a prison for decades, a place where souls were trapped, bound by the devil's contract. And now it seemed, it wanted more. It wanted the Harlows. With fear gnawing at their insides, they searched for a way to escape. But the more they tried, the more the house seemed to trap them. The front door wouldn't open, and the windows had been sealed shut. Panic set in, but just as they thought all hope was lost, Jake, in his innocent way, remembered something his grandmother used to say: the devil can only take what you give him. The family realized they could break the pact by giving up what the devil had taken from the original owners. They had to undo the curse, but the devil wasn't about to let them leave that easily. As the walls trembled and the house groaned, a figure appeared at the top of the stairs. It was the devil, taking human form, tall, dark-eyed, with a twisted grin on his face. He spoke in a voice that made the air freeze, and "You can try," he said, "but it won't be that easy." A final struggle ensued. The family fought to undo the dark ritual that had bound the house to the devil's will, and in a final desperate act, Sarah managed to tear the book in half, scattering the pages to the wind. For a moment, everything stopped. The house fell silent. But as they breathed a sigh of relief, they noticed something strange. The house had changed. The air was still thick with dread, but it was lighter now, as if the devil's presence had dissipated. The walls no longer whispered their names, and the scratching had stopped. The family didn't stay much longer. They packed their things and left the house, never to return. But as they drove away, Sarah caught a glimpse of something in the rearview mirror. A shadow, a figure standing at the top of the stairs, watching them leave. The devil may have been banished, but the house, it was still waiting.